Hello again, dear all. I think we have waited enough and our participation is over 60 now. I think it's okay for us to start at the moment. I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Serhat Yıldırım and I am the Food and Environment NCP of Turkey. As we have already heard in the plenary session, this workshop is one of the four, and it will be focusing on the climate change specifically. Even though the Green Deal call is itself majorly based on climate and the 2050 visions of the European Union, this workshop is much more specifically based on the environment-related topics of the Green Deal call. So, and in this session, we have two distinguished speakers. One is from the European Commission, DG Research and Innovation, from the Unit of Healthy Oceans and Seas, Police Officer Mr. Nicolas Segabart. And the other speaker is from the Project Management ULI. She is the Societal Challenges 5 National Contact Point of Germany, and she is also the coordinator of the NCP 5 for the NCP Care project. She is Shilpi Saxena. And I hope it will be a very fruitful event for you. And the first presentation will be done by Mr. Segabart, and it will be on the low carbon Green Deal 9.3 ocean related call. Dear Mr. Segabart, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for your very kind introduction. I'm delighted to be here with you today in these very peculiar times. As you said, this topic is addressing, as you will see, most of the objective, if not all, of the Green Deal. And it is entitled Transparent and Accessible Seas and Oceans Towards a Digital Twin of the Ocean. So if I can have the next slide. Thank you. Before we dive into the topic, I would like to remind four important contextual elements that underpin the ocean twin. Firstly, is that ocean observations are essential to understand, predict, and manage our oceans, and that in all its dimensions: physical, environmental, and socioeconomical. Ocean observation should be sustained and fit for purpose, accounting for their multiple uses, and you will see that this is a very important aspect of this topic. Secondly, Europe has established over the years an unrivaled range of marine data, modeling, and forecasting infrastructures. And these include, for instance, EMODNet and Copernicus, in particular its marine service, but also many national and EU marine research infrastructures and the Blue Cloud. Thirdly, the principle of fair data, which stands for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable, is a guiding principle of Horizon 2020 and is now a guiding principle of Horizon Europe. It is particularly relevant to ocean observation, both because of their very high costs, but also because of the need to look at the ocean from a systemic point of view across disciplines and across sectors. Lastly, but not least, you might have heard of the Destination Earth initiative, which is proposed as a contribution to both the European Green Deal and the European Digital Agenda. Destination Earth, or Destiny as it is also called, aims at the development of a very high precision digital model of the Earth, which combines observations, artificial intelligence, cloud, and high performance computing capacities. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So, despite of significant progresses over the last year, we must observe that the landscape is still somehow fragmented and that the data and knowledge, and I insist that these are two different things, do not flow easily through disciplines and to the potential users. And this is precisely what the digital twin of the ocean is all about. The digital twin of the ocean aims at integrating European ocean assets with digital technologies into a consistent, high-resolution and multi-dimensional description of the ocean. It should transform data into knowledge for the benefit of all. So in the sense that it should not address only the scientists, it should address all the other communities, and that notably through the use of new digital technologies, and through different layers of services. The ocean twin should be a simulator to test different scenarios of the evolution of the ocean, both because of climate change and because of anthropogenic pressure. Importantly, and I would even say crucially, this simulator should also allow for the testing of possible solutions in a way that it will empower citizens, governments, and industries to collectively share the responsibility of marine and coastal habitats, to support a sustainable blue economy, and to prepare, mitigate, and adapt to climate change. Next slide, please. Thank you. So that was for the ocean twin concept, which you might have heard or read already, is strongly advocated by the Mission Board on Healthy Oceans, Seas, Coastal and Inland Waters. The Mission Board has published a report which you can easily find on the Commission website and which I strongly recommend you to read, as it will shape many of our activities for the next decades. Now, the scope of the topic itself is fairly open, with the obvious condition that proposals should demonstrate the usefulness of an ocean twin with regard to Green Deal priorities, and that this demonstration should be done on concrete cases in local, regional, or global sea basins, from estuaries to the open ocean, and from the surface to the seabed. Proposals should integrate the socioeconomic dimension to the multivariable description and simulation environment of the ocean, and this should be done in both directions. What are the impacts of changes from and on given socioeconomic activities? Proposals may address, for instance, the impact of climate scenarios on aquaculture and fisheries, and reversely, how those affect local and global ecosystems. Proposal could also address the impact of sea level rise and extreme waves on coastal risks, or pollution monitoring together with scenarios for mitigation and remediation strategies. They could also address, for instance, maritime spatial planning. So these are all examples of what could be done into proposals. In all cases, the approach should be as holistic as possible. The proposals should build on, integrate, and complement existing infrastructure assets, available data sets and model, real-time data, or I should say nearly real-time data depending on the needs, from mobile and fixed platforms, as well as industrial and citizen data and historic data sources. This integration into a single digital framework which is compatible with Destination Earth, because what we envisage at this point is that the digital twin ocean would be the ocean component of Destination Earth. This integration should allow, together with the exploitation of big data technologies, for the development of models, model outputs, and what-if scenarios with appropriate user interfaces for multiple user groups in what I would call a multi-layer service approach. Importantly, proposals should demonstrate a breakthrough in accuracy and realism compared to the state of the art, and an optimal synergy between the observations and the models. Can I have the next slide? Thank you. Now, the impact that we expect from this topic is that it will enable, first, the completion of the existing European ocean forecasting and climate services by a simulation capacity allowing for the future plugin of numerous applications. So it's a basis for new applications and services based on innovative solutions. We expect that it will support the move to an operational European ocean observing system and to shared data management strategies, as there, although many progresses have been done, we still have a bit of work to do. We expect the project, the selected project, and the proposals to contribute the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, that it will impact on a science-driven approach to policy development and implementation, and that it will increase citizen engagement and empower the citizens in innovative co-designed projects and services. Last but not least, we also expect that it will support industry to develop new business models and opportunities in ocean data and related services. Can I have the next slide? So last slide, as close to last slide, it's the topic condition. So this is an innovation action, meaning that the technology maturity must have reached a level allowing for the framework and infrastructure of the Ocean Twin to become operational in the short to midterm. The budget topic is 12 million euro, and it's also the suggested casting capacity is extremely poor. There is place for only one project. International cooperation is, of course, strongly encouraged, and that is to ensure global coverage and global Okay, so before I conclude, I would like to note that the Digital Twin Earth has been the theme of the annual Earth Observation Fee Week organized by ESA a few weeks ago, and that we discussed the Ocean Twin on October 2. It has been recorded and it will be soon available on the ESA Fee Week website. So there has been a very, very interesting discussion, and I invite you to follow it. So that's it for my part. I hope I was clear, and I'm there for you for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sayaba, for this comprehensive presentation and introducing the topic to us. And I'll be checking now the questions of the participants, but at the moment, unfortunately, there is no questions that I see posted. But I can ask you a question myself, because as an NCP, I am getting this question over and over about this topic. Since this topic is just in the title, it says the ocean-related topic. Many of our stakeholders here in Turkey, since we are not a country that has a border to an ocean, that we have inland seas, they want to know if this topic is applicable to the inland seas like Black Sea or the Mediterranean, or maybe in the Baltic region seas, or if it is just for the oceans. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. All the seas and the oceans are interconnected, and we really should look at the ocean as a system, as a single system, although you have subsystems which have their own specificities and need. For instance, if you look at observation systems, every regional will need to develop its own regional observation system. So it does cover all the oceans and all the seas.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sayaba. Then from now on, we'll be telling our stakeholders from domestic and from international stakeholders that all the seas and oceans are applicable to this topic. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And I think that will be all, because there is no questions posted. If you have nothing to add in this part of yours, then we can maybe move on to our next speaker.
Thank you, and have a good day, everybody.
You too. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Now we have the next speaker, we have Shilpi Saxena from Project Management ULIC, and she'll be introducing us the related topics, the remaining topics of the climate change area, and they will be Green Deal 1.1, 1.3, 7.1, and 9.2. Welcome, Mrs. Saxena, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Asmi, for the introduction. And I will be just closing my video because it will be maybe a bit easier also on the bandwidth if I just do the presentation for now, and then I'll put it on back later. So my name is Shilpi Saxena, and NCP Environment Germany, and also coordinator of the SC5 NCP network project called NCP's CARE. Okay, so next slide, please. Thank you. So I will be presenting to you basically 3 topics climate related and 1 on biodiversity. And the first one is in the call area 1 on increasing climate ambition, cross-sectoral challenges. And it deals with preventing and fighting extreme wildfires with the integration and demonstration of innovative means. As we know, wildfires have become an increasing hazard, and not just anymore in Southern Europe, as we know pictures from Greece or Corsica, etc., but equally Central, Eastern, and Northern Europe. Furthermore, the wildfires pose a health hazard. Firstly, they degrade the air quality, and then toxic pollutants affect not only first responders, but equally people much further away. Then furthermore, this is a basic challenge we have to deal with. Then this topic has two subtopics. One is an innovation action, and one is a coordination and support action. This topic, I also want to explain some, besides the main topic, the topic conditions, which are really important to know, namely that you should also, if you apply for this topic, have cooperation within H2020 with current relevant projects. One would be, for example, from the Societal Challenge 5 work program on low carbon climate, LCCLA 15 2020, as well as from the Disaster Resilience Call, SUDRS 02 between 2018 and 2020. So hook up with projects that are already running. They do not compensate, they just complement some of the information that you might be needing for this topic. Furthermore, international cooperation is encouraged. It encourages the knowledge, resources, and best practices, so use them, as well as minimize risks and increase the worldwide impact. For both subtopics, it is encouraged to cooperate with the United States, Canada, Australia, Russia, Japan, Brazil, South America, Indonesia, and South Africa, whereby South America, Indonesia, and South Africa are automatically eligible for funding under General Annex A. The other countries, US, Canada, Australia, Russia, Japan, Brazil, are not entitled for automatic funding, so they have to bring in their own money. Another very important aspect for this project is that you need to have a proven access to necessary land and or permits for operation at the time of application, and or convincing risk management regarding delayed availability of the land or the permits. So this could mean if in the midterm evaluation of your project, let's say reporting period, whatever, in the midterm, and your risk management could be a deciding factor from the Commission side to say this could be a go or a no-go of your project. So be really careful that you have the proven access to the land and or permits for the operation already at the time of application, or at least mention in the risk management why it is delayed or when you will be getting and what it will affect for your proposal. Next slide, please. Thanks. For the scope, there is of course a general aspect on the scope which concerns both subtopics, but that will be shown on the next slide. I'm going to just go into the scope aspects per subtopic. And it's important that you of course only address one of the two. You cannot do both. Now for subtopic 1, it is important that you use and develop innovative means and methods and integrate them in the different environments of entire Europe, including EU outermost regions, and they should be tailored to the geographic and socioeconomic conditions of those areas, as well as the different types of the burning materials, or the burning type as in forest fire or bushfire, etc. Furthermore, you should have a systemic approach, meaning you have to cover all 3 phases of fire management. The 3 phases are listed on the slide as Phase A, prevention and preparedness, Phase B, detection and response, Phase C, restoration and adaptation. Now, within the phases, each single phase, there are further points to be addressed, but here, within each phase itself, you can just address a subset. So 1, 2, 3 bullet points can be addressed. You don't have to address all bullet points listed in each phase, but important, again, you have to address all phases as such. Concerning subtopic 2, you have to develop recommendations for the measures to prevent fires and to also include different actors involved, like forestry owners, nature conservation organizations, local residents, local and regional authorities. Develop a better preparedness for the first responders in cross-border sections and regional international help, kind of in the context of the Union Civil Protection Mechanism framework. And also facilitate international cooperation and the global use in this thematic area. Next slide, please. So as already mentioned, the scope, as written on the left-hand side of this slide, addresses both subtopics. I don't want to go so much into these now. I rather want to go into the impact. As you can see, the impact lists specific targets, measurable targets. You have to achieve 0 fatalities from wildfires, or a 50% of reduction in building losses. These are very high level targets you have to reach. You cannot do a cherry picking. You have to address all impact points. And this is, of course, just a condensed version. There are a few more aspects listed in the topic text. For example, national strategies to adapt to climate change and to reduce the risk of catastrophes, and also try to assimilate or aspects of the different political guidelines and EU strategies. Also try to contribute to national policies, natural protection, management of protected areas, and to regenerate damaged forestry areas and landscapes. Next slide, please. The second topic in the context of climate, which I'm going to present within Call Area 1, is the third topic, climate resilient innovation packages for EU regions. Here we are dealing with the effects of the increase in temperature, and that the measures at the moment existing presently are not sufficient. So the aim is to have a systemic solution at a large scale, and also looking at behavioral change. Here too, you have 2 subtopics, one again an innovation action, and the second a coordination and support action. Next slide, please. Again, I will address the scope within both subtopics, and the next slide will be showing basically the scope which is applicable for both subtopics. And of course, you only have to address one, either the innovation action or the coordination and support action. So you need to consider the changes in the adaptive capacities and the changes between the regions and the countries and societies concerning for these innovation packages. So the most exposed regions and communities and the highest or the lowest adaptation capacity, their effects on the climate change have to be given predominance. Use operative climate services, really important, like Copernicus Climate Change Service, Copernicus Emergency Management Service, which are available for public institutions for free. So build on existing information services, data, and platforms. Have a broad involvement of citizens and interest groups, and also let them be part of the solutions through co-creative processes. Now in subtopic 2, the CSA, if we look again at the aspect of involving citizens and regions, make sure that the target regions and societies are included and that they can profit from these innovation packages. So use multi-stakeholder dialogue, citizen engagement, surveys. And also from the beginning on, work together in a pan-European context with regional networks, city networks and partnerships. For example, EU Urban Agenda Partnership on Climate Change Adaptation, the Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy, And of course, for example, the European Institute for Innovation and Technology, EIT, the KICs. Have a broad integration of the innovation packages through capacity building and training in relevant sectors, and include the different groups and try to cover as broad a range of the society as possible. Next slide, please. Again, as already mentioned, the scope, as listed on the left-hand side of the slide, deals or addresses both subtopics. So both subtopics have to address this scope part. And as I already just now explained the specific scope aspects per subtopic, I will now go into the impact. So you have here listed even impacts per subtopic. And for example, beyond the ones listed here on the slide, it is important that you support the goals of the Green Deal, as well as especially the EU strategy to the adaptation of climate change, EU strategy for biodiversity, address the bioeconomy, circular economy, and then also a program for clean air in Europe. Contribute to the economic restart after the COVID pandemic, and promote the transformative change in all regions and areas of society in order to increase the resistance for climate. Next slide, please. And now we are going to address one topic, which is on biodiversity and ecosystem services in the Call Area 7, and it deals with restoring biodiversity and ecosystem service. This call area only has this one topic. So it's here really important that you demonstrate and promote systemic solutions for upscaling, because restoration of biodiversity is a very important aspect. This topic is very long and very detailed. The topic text description already includes 6 pages. So it means really pay attention to the information written there. It is important for you to know, first of all, it is only an innovation action, and the budget is 16 to 25 million, quite high. And at least 2 proposals covering terrestrial and or freshwater ecosystems will be funded, and at least 2 proposals covering coastal and or marine ecosystems will be funded. So that's important to know. Concerning international cooperation, there is no specific listing of countries in this case. In general, it is encouraged for adapting the upscaling approaches for restoration demonstrated for use in European conditions, and applying them to harness transformative change internationally. A footnote to this topic text also says this could include the EU outermost regions. Next slide, please. The scope. So we only have one scope because it's just one topic and no subtopic. Here we are looking at strengthening ecosystems and CO2 sinks through biodiversity and restoration of ecosystem functions. Prove that ecosystem regeneration is possible at a large scale. Project consortia must evidence that they have the rights to undertake actions on the areas to be restored. And what is really important, no land purchase or lease can be funded under this topic, meaning you cannot use the EU funds that you'll be receiving for this topic to purchase or lease land that you need to restore the ecosystem for ecosystem restoration. Projects, therefore, are expected to mobilize additional funding or in-kind contributions when implementing restoration actions. And here, as well as already mentioned in topic 1.1 with the wildfires, here too, you need to have a proven access necessary to the land and or the permits for operation at the time of application. And or you have to have a written convincing risk management regarding the delayed availability of the land or the permit. And again, during midterm evaluation of the project, the risk management could include a go or a no-go decision by the Commission. And also proposals should dedicate appropriate resources to develop joint deliverables with all projects funded under this topic and for cooperation with other projects. and actions should use existing platforms and information sharing mechanisms relevant for restoration and nature-based solutions, giving open access to its results. If we look at the impact, besides the points listed here on the slide, you need to really support several EU strategies. Some I've listed, of course, the Green Deal call, but also reducing CO2 emissions by 2030, by the year of 2030, by about 50 to 55%. Achieve CO2 neutrality till 2050. So these are the strategies you have to include in your proposal. Biodiversity strategy 2030, farm to fork, Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction, etc., etc. So you can see there's again quite a lot of aspects to be addressed. Again, you cannot do any cherry picking with the impact. You have to address all aspects. Next slide, please. And now the last topic I'll be presenting is now within call area 9, strengthening our knowledge in support of the European Green Deal. And this is also addressing climate. It is developing end-user products and services for all stakeholders and citizens supporting climate adaptation and mitigation. During the R&I days, the commission who presented this topic said that basically the information is already provided in the title. So here we have the challenge of mitigation and adaptation on climate, and that we need to basically include businesses and governments, citizens. Again, looking at social and behavioral factors. And we only have one project, namely a research innovation action. And applicants are reminded that the purchase or lease of land with the purpose of later buying does not constitute eligible costs for the project. Furthermore, which is another additional aspect which needs to be considered or used, is the dissemination obligation. The European Commission intends to establish network activities for the funded projects in the areas of the Green Deal call. So you need to look at other actions. Supported projects are requested to contribute to the networking and experience sharing activities. And the applicants must acknowledge and integrate these obligations in your proposal. These general further additions and obligations are listed in the topic text with the respective articles of the Model Grant Agreement you have to pay attention to. Next slide, please. In the scope, as you can see, it is, again, contribute to informing citizens and decision makers on the impacts of climate change, again, looking at lifestyle, incorporating behavioral factors, use existing platforms and services. GEOs are really important and are mentioned several times in some of the topics, especially those addressing the environmental climate aspects. Use existing services, information, and data. Build upon existing information. Don't reinvent the wheel. And on the impact, also contribute to the GEO initiative, for example, or increase resilience of the society, in this case, private and public, as well as individual, to multiple risks. So again, here is also very targeted on end user, different stakeholders, which you have to address, especially again by using existing services. And the last slide is, I hope, yeah, perfect. This, I really want to strongly advise you to listen to the recordings from the European Commission from the Research and Innovation Days on the Green Deal call. Our network project, NCP's CARE, has put them on the website, and I've put the direct link. So that means you don't have to go into the R&I days and log in and find them under the hub. You can also just access directly the recordings per area. Topic 1.2 still will be added, but otherwise all specific webinars on all areas and even the pitching sessions are listed on the website. They are really informative, the slides, and then especially the Q&A within those sessions of the webinar. So really listen to it, take the time to listen to the information. It will help you a lot for your proposal, and it will definitely answer many of your questions. And of course, also look into the FAQ of the Commission on the portal. It is linked on the EC Funding Attendance portal. If you look under the topic, each topic again has specifically FAQ related to the topic. In some cases, it is already available, in some cases not yet. So just keep checking those as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Saxena. It was a very clear, extensive, comprehensive, and very informative presentation. And we have a few questions, just one, I guess, from the participants. It was related to the wildfire topic.
Yeah.
And the question says, related to your the page 4 of your presentation, the question says, should the impacts of the project contribute all the EU targets in the list shown at page 4? It says, what if the project does not say anything about the reduction in building losses, but addresses all other targets?
Okay, so first of all, unless, and that is very seldom in the impact area, unless it says you can address a few, which really doesn't happen. It mostly says you have to address all impact parts, then you have to address them all. If you are not able to achieve something, or you think this is not possible, then at least address the issue. Explain why you think this is not possible, or you can only imagine to achieve 20%, for example. Make sure that you don't give the impression that you're skipping an important impact factor. Always address the issue, whether you're able to do it or not do it, and explain it. That is what gives the coherent logic to the evaluators. Don't forget, otherwise the reader, the evaluators, will get the impression, oh, this person doesn't address the topic, so either he's avoiding it, or the project consortia didn't think about it, or maybe forgot to address it. So don't create that impression. Address it in every respect.
Okay, thank you very much for this answer, Shilpi. And I guess that would be all, because there is no questions other than this one. If you have any other points to add, floor is yours. But if not, we can continue with the flash presentations and pitching sessions.
There was just this one point to post your email addresses in the chat box. I guess they're referring to both speakers. I'm not sure if that question or to whom that question is addressed to.
Well, we can solve this issue right now. If it is okay for you, I can share your email address with the remaining participants, if that's what they ask. But if they are addressing to each other as participants, that may be another option.
Maybe they should clarify it. And the thing is, if you were mainly Turkish applicants, you need to, of course, address Azmi, who's sitting in front of you. He is your respective NCP Societal Challenge 5. So please contact him for questions. Because in the end effect, I would signpost back to your respective NCP. Or if you're from another country, we can gladly signpost you to our respective NCPs. In case there are German NCP applicants from Germany sitting here, of course you can write to me.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, all participants can relay their emails to me. I am the respective NCP in Turkey in both Societal Challenge 2, Food, and Societal Challenge 5, Environment. And I can gladly answer all your questions related to Green Deal and the other Horizon 2020 issues. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Have a nice day, Shilpi. Thank you for this presentation.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Now we have the flash presentations, or so-called the pitching sessions of our workshop. In this session, there were supposed to be 5 pitching presentations, and starting from one by one, I will be giving the floor to the respective speakers of the presentations. The first presentation belongs to Ms. Hale Erol Hakan, and I will give her the panelist privileges now, and she'll be able to speak and present her presentation. Hale Hanım, can you hear us? Hale Hanım, are you with us? And are you able to hear us?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you right now. You can start your presentation, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, my name is Hale Erol Hakan. I am founder of Energy Efficiency Platform. I would like to give some information about us, about Energy Efficiency Platform. Next slide, please. The Energy Efficiency Platform was created to serve all sectors that develop products aimed at effective energy consumption. Working with local governments in addition to create an alternative channel that can be utilized by the relevant sectors. Energy and efficiency platform projects also includes social responsibility with the main goal of raising awareness about climate change. We are collaborating with Zero Build Forum and Smart Gantt Patent Training Module. So next slide, please. So this is our project idea and about calls. We welcome all listed calls, especially for the local governments we work with, and the partnership proposals for the renewable energy projects. We believe that all stages of the Green Deal can become reality, in line with the awareness and demands of the public. Therefore, we are moving forward by taking awareness as the most important topic. I would like to summarize one of our projects that we effectuated in Turkey in this context. Know it, do it, share it, and hashtag #BilYap in Turkish. Within this project, awareness meetings are held in corporate companies with 250 or more employees, where information on the climate change, the impact of energy on the economy, and energy efficiency are explained with dramatic examples. Also, how to achieve the energy efficiency and energy savings in homes and offices are covered. Employees are recommended to share this information with their friends and family. Our priority is to slow down climate change and minimize its effects. Okay, we can check. Thank you very much. If you want to contact us, you can use our contact information, and I would like to thank you for this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hakan. Dear participants, if you would like to be in contact with Ms. Hakan, she presented her project ideas. If you are interested, if you see the opportunity that you can be partners with her, you can contact her directly through the email she provided. Thank you very much. And now the next presentation belongs to probably I'll be very lost in this pronunciation, I'm sorry, Miss Elvira Sigognani, and she'll be presenting her presentation. Miss Sigognani, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity to present the research that we are conducting. I am a university professor from the University of Bologna. You can maybe move to the next slide. So, here you can see a general description of our university. I am from the Department of Psychology, and I am a social psychologist and community psychologist. And with our team in the community psychology laboratory, we are developing and we are conducting research. In the last years, have been conducting research on the issues of citizen participation and engagement, including also young people participation, different types of participation. And maybe you can, if you move on with the slide. Sorry, this is our description of our team. We have been involved in the past, also in European projects, and the last one was the Catch-IU project, which I coordinated in till 2018, which dealt with young people engagement and participation, and we addressed different forms of participation and with research, attempting to understand the psychological and psychosocial factors that move young people to engage and participate, and also with interventions aimed at improving young people engagement. And within this European project, we also tested and participatory action research model with students in schools in which they were engaged in developing research and proposals, including also proposals on environmental issues, which they proposed to policymakers and stakeholders. But we also work with adults, with our community members, and basically our expertise is in understanding the factors that explain the reason why people are engaging in behaviors that are safe for the environment, so pro-environmental behaviors, activism for the environment, so for climate change also. And so the basically research with different kinds of methods, quantitative, and second, our expertise is in engaging citizens with different participatory methodologies to collect bottom-up perspectives, ideas, and solutions, and to help them, to empower them to develop also original creative solutions to so a co-creation type of approach to be brought to the authority, to local administrations and other policymakers. And then also in the assessment, so monitoring and assessing interventions and to address participation. And here you can see a list of topics and yes, I have proposed, okay, these are the key, the main core topics which are closer to our expertise, and in all of three topics we might be for sure interested in collaborating, but also in other topics in which you think that it might be useful to analyze behaviors and mobilize people and to assess, to change behavior of the people. And I stated that I'm interested in offering expertise as partner because in this period I don't have the energies to coordinate. So, but I'm willing to collaborate with coordinators who might be interested to present a project within this course. Thank you very much for your attention. Here you can see my contact details.
Thank you, Ms. Gognani. Dear participants, if you are interested in the project idea of Ms. Gognani, you can contact her through the email she provided. And our next speaker is Mr. Güven Fidan, and he'll be presenting his presentation as soon as it will be screen shared.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Fidan.
Okay.
Is yours.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for this nice organization. I am Güven Fidan, and I am the founder of a company, Alcazar Climate. As you see, you can reach me from my email. Please, next slide. Next page. And our main business focus is wind consulting globally. For last 2 years, we have been analyzing climate data on a global scale, regardless of location. In this context, we have developed a data set by combining our ability in building physics and the climate data analysis business. Now we are looking for cooperation for the second one, the second part, that is the climate data analysis business idea. Until these days, we have supported various projects as SMEs and consultants. Need4B is one of them. In this European project, there were 5 different countries attendance, and we support this project being a consultant for the energy models, and design files, thermal comfort improvement activities. And after the completed the construction, we applied the energy consumption measurements of the comfort levels with surveys, and you can find many details in the web page of this project and our studies. Please, next slide. And in my team of 10 people, we are focused on these projects with 3 professors, advisors who support us from 2 different universities. Their expertise enables us to transfer a much deeper knowledge together with our engineering teams. With this accumulation, we participate here specifically for a product and project. In the next page, please. We focus 3 months ago, our one product was open to use of the insurance industry with API. It's used in 11 companies as a proof of concept now. This product contains the cumulative analysis of 15 years of weather data, specific period in the history of Turkey. Thus, this data obtained by numerical methods, it's a numerical calculation analysis method, shows us the regional catastrophic risk for different parameters. These parameters include many different they are such as lightning risk, snow thickness risk, agricultural frost, hail, storm risk, and so on. We can share these data sheets about with you. We can share them, and the insurance companies use these data sets for the criticizing their policies, their insurance standards for their customers. And our aim in this panel networking area is to analyze actually the wind data regionally, model 3 files with CFD, and combine these 2 analysis outputs to create emergency response catalogs by synthesizing regional fire scenarios with other factors. We wish to be in contact with everyone who thinks of cooperation in these 2 issues and our capabilities. And last slide, please. Thank you to everyone who listened to me, and good luck for these pandemic days. And I wish everyone have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Mr. Fidan, thank you for sharing your project idea. Dear participants, you can contact Mr. Fidan through the email he provided if you see any connection or any opportunity to be a partner with him. Thank you very much. The next slide is to be done by Mr. Preet Sarnet. And Mr. Preet Sarnet, are you there? Mr. Sarnet, can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, okay, we can hear you too now. You can start your presentation.
Hello, I'm Preet from Group EcoVox. And if we could get the next slide, please. What we are doing, actually, we are researching and developing new products which are usable for everybody, basically. From materials which go in the landfill, like a paper, a carton. We're already doing some of the products which we actually picked a pet market for that, and the reason why is that it's just been left behind, and we saw that it's just lots of things are done for ourselves. And then sometimes for other regions, but the pets have been kind of forgotten, basically. And currently, what we do, we actually use a recycled paper for that, and making litter trays and other products to take more plastic off from the market. If I could get the next slide, please. So why we picked litter trays is one of the reasons why what we see is when the litter tray is used, it's actually lasting about 65 times more than the pet's lifetime. So it's just gonna be somewhere in the nature. And another reason why we used it was lots of water mixed with chemicals goes in actually in the oceans and our water systems. So if you take one user is using about 20 to 30 liters of water a month and mixing it with chemicals, and if you go with a million people using it, then it's 20 to 30 millions of liters being used for washing the litter trays and obviously to getting rid of the germs and everything you put chemicals in. Our trays don't need to be washed, so that's the key there. And because it's made from biodegradable materials, which is also recycled, then it gives a much smaller impact to the nature, and it is convenient for the user actually as well. So sometimes people choose convenience before the environment. We have actually the both things covered. If I could get the next slide, please. So our objective was to reduce the use of plastic, reduce the materials that would go, otherwise we end up in landfill. We want to reduce obviously the chemicals going in the water systems. And the results are eventually less plastic in oceans and land, less paper waste buried in the landfill, reduce the amount of chemicals from the cleaning process getting into the waters, which change the pH level and has many other effects as well. And in all, it just reduces unnecessary water use. So if you could next slide, please. And that's basically our idea. And obviously, what we're looking for partners to go work with, to have maybe a better funding options, and also the improve the materials and work with even better materials we can use in many different industries, and then come up with a more environment-friendly solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sanet, for sharing your project idea. Once again, dear participants, if you perceive a partnership opportunity with Mr. Sanet, you can contact him through the email he provided. And with this last presentation, we are now at the end of our workshop. The pitching session and also the presentations of our keynote speakers is over. At the moment, the parallel sessions, the other workshops, workshop 1, 3, and 4 are currently going on. Our workshop is relatively shorter than them, and from now on there will be a break in 12:45 to 1:30 Central European Time, and starting from 1:30 Central European Time, the one-to-one partnership meetings will be opening, and we hope you a fruitful and very comprehensive and useful meetings with your pre-arranged meetings. Thank you very much for listening and participating to this event.
Thank you very much.